Some stories are not written in chronicles or carved on monuments, but whispered in heartbeats and chemical signals. Pregnancy is one such epic, brutal and tender, disciplined and chaotic, a contest and a compromise. One body opens its gates to another, an intruder that is also the most intimate guest, and the two must negotiate, test, resist, and, if fate is kind, cooperate to create something miraculous, new life. The scene begins with a countless army suddenly unleashed, tens of millions of sperm, each carrying nothing but a drop of energy and a spear of genetic code. A biological clock ticks down. Before they even glimpse their destination, they find themselves in a fortress designed to repel invaders. Every bodily entrance is a barricade. None of them welcome strangers. The first gauntlet is the acidic environment of the vagina. Harsh and hostile, it wipes out millions within minutes. Its guardians, protective cells and resident microbes, act like watchmen. The semen's alkalinity offers a brief shield, buying time, but the favor quickly fades. Ahead lies a labyrinth of sticky protein nets and swirling mucus currents. Stragglers get trapped. Many vanish without trace. From an army of millions, only a few hundred remain. A survival rate so small, it seems nature is filtering with an impossibly fine sieve. But if ovulation has just begun, the fortress offers faint clues. Chemical lanterns that light the path. Subtle changes in cervical mucus that make the road slightly less hostile. The uterus now stands as a vast, silent chamber, branching into two halls. Its mucus flows like moving staircases, lifting the strong onward, letting the weak fall behind. Immune cells patrol like tireless guards, devouring laggards and wanderers. And then, a select few behold their colossal goal, the egg. It is a planet compared to their dust-sized bodies, 10,000 times larger, brimming with nutrients and crowded with mitochondria, miniature power stations. But entry is no easy prize. Its armored halo is a gatekeeper, designed to permit only one. The remaining sperm exhaust their strength, battering and probing. But the egg itself decides. When one is chosen, its membrane fuses. And instantly, the story changes voice. 23 chromosomes from father and 23 from mother align. Maps of two realms pressed together to sketch a nation not yet born. The zygote is no longer an extension of the mother, but an independent entity with its own agenda. Potential, not certainty. Like a thought not yet spoken. Over the next few days, this newborn traveler drifts slowly toward the uterus, dividing ceaselessly. 2 cells, 4, 8, hundreds. Nature makes a strange move here. The embryo assigns roles. One group, the inner cell mass, will one day form the child. The other, the trophoblasts, are sacrificial builders. They will never become a person, but instead labor to construct the placenta, a temporary organ, destined to die once its duty is fulfilled. Imagine that when you were a tiny embryo, a shadow twin worked only to keep you alive, then vanished forever. The days ahead are perilous. The embryo rolls like a tennis ball through syrup, seeking purchase. It sends diplomatic envoys, dozens of chemical signals, pleading, "I am here, let me stay." The uterus replies with its own storm of messages: hormones, cytokines, immune codes. If the dialogue is convincing, the uterine lining softens, granting passage. If the embryo's language is clumsy, too noisy, too quiet, the gate slams shut. Pregnancy is a vast investment. The host does not gamble on weak players. And the embryo is not merely begging. It dispatches Trojan horses, vesicles packed with genetic instructions, slipping into uterine cells like secret agents, persuading them to cooperate. During this suspenseful interlude, the uterus even provides uterine milk, a clear fluid of nutrients and hormones that the embryo hungrily consumes. If granted access, it implants. Its first great victory. Now, the trophoblasts multiply like wildfire, transforming into aggressive invaders. Like microscopic octopuses, they drill into uterine walls, dismantling cells, forcing open corridors toward maternal blood vessels. To the untrained eye, it looks like violence. But in truth, it is a finely tuned assault, monitored at every step by the mother's body. If the embryo is damaged, it produces erratic metabolic signals, too loud, too unstable, and is quietly rejected. If it is weak, it is too silent and is abandoned. The uterus is a strict inspector, unflinching in its verdicts. And then, an astonishing reversal. The mother's immune system, normally a merciless executioner of intruders, becomes a guardian. Specialized immune cells at the uterine wall surround the embryo, shielding it, guiding trophoblasts deeper, creating a sanctuary where dangerous T cells are forbidden entry. Still, the embryo is not naive. It sends defensive signals that can halt or even kill maternal immune cells that venture too close. Some of its cells break away entirely, migrating throughout the mother's body, even into her brain. These fragments, called microchimerism, may remain for decades, meaning that mothers carry pieces of their children long after birth. A family's history etched into flesh. Around 8 weeks after conception, the embryo reshapes into a fetus, olive-sized, with organs sprouting their first outlines. From a formless cluster, a human silhouette emerges. Is there a precise moment when cells become a human? Biology says no. It is a continuum. Societies, laws, and faiths draw the line differently, across centuries. But what is certain is this. From here, growth explodes, powered by an extraordinary invention, the placenta. The placenta is fortress and marketplace. Facing the mother, its cells line her blood vessels, widening rivers into highways. Facing the fetus, the umbilical cord bridges supply lines. Inside, an army of immune guardians devour microbes before they breach the barrier. Yet the placenta also demands tribute. It secretes hormones that reroute glucose into the fetus's bloodstream, sometimes draining the mother enough to cause gestational diabetes. It protects, but it also steals. Beneath this exchange lies a quiet tug-of-war. Maternal genes within the fetus urge restraint, conserving resources for future offspring. Paternal genes push relentlessly for more, ensuring this child's survival at any cost. What results is a fragile treaty, constantly renegotiated. Enough to let the fetus thrive, but not so much that the mother is ruined. Nature here is a parliament. Its debates spoken in proteins, its compromises signed in hormones. As the months pass, the fetus swells in size, billions of times its original weight. Vessels expand, immune truces hold, the placenta grows and repairs itself. If all stays in balance, the odds of reaching birth rise steadily. If you are alive today, you have walked this corridor of trials. You were once a whisper of DNA that braved acid storms, mucus labyrinths, and merciless judges. You pleaded in a language of chemicals, survived inspections, built alliances, and grew behind the walls of a fortress your own cells erected. You exist because one body made room. surrendered energy, rewrote its immune code, and even constructed an organ only to discard it after your arrival. Biology does not flatter us. It tells the story plain. It is harsh, but also precise and strangely beautiful. There are no heroes or villains, only strategies, negotiations, and fragile truces. Yet the outcome is profound. Out of silent conflict, existence. When a baby is born, all eyes turn to it. Meanwhile, the placenta, the fortress and thief, the guardian and parasite, is discarded. Forgotten in the rush of celebration. Few pause to salute it. But if you could, you might picture the entire saga. The chemical lanterns of ovulation, the milk of the uterus, the migrant cells that live on in mothers, the tug of war between maternal caution and paternal ambition, and finally, the quiet departure of the placenta. World history remembers battles that redrew maps. Your history began with a battle no less decisive, fought in silence, without banners or trumpets, but one that carved the boundary between nothingness and being. If you read these words today, it means you passed through that crucible, aided by your own relentless persistence and the generosity of another body. Within cruelty was compassion. Within conflict, collaboration. And that is how life inscribed your name onto the map of existence.